the fact is you've tuned into Race City Rebels facing off against the Philadelphia Hooligans.
Indeed. Philadelphia Hooligans coming in as the 1 seed for this tournament. Race City Rebels, they are the 4 seed. Race City Rebels currently ranked 22 in the MRDA. We'll do a quick roster check as we get ready to start here for the Race City Rebels. 02 is Wicked Bombshell, 13 is Upchuck Norris, 14 Johnson, 17 is Shaggy, 24 Punky Bruiser, 317 is Kid, 34 Grimace, 42 Lord Doombrew, 52 Car Bomb, 64 Ugly, 7 Quad Almighty, 70 Doc Flatliner, 72 Les Brawl, 73 Lynn, 79 Skateman Spiff, and 84 Zechner. Those are the Race City Rebels. And Julius Leeser, we are close to the start here.
Got 3 seconds to get to the Philadelphia Hooligans. You think I can do it? 0 Grasso, 040 Special Ed, 11 Mainframe, 13 Beast, 16 Speed Tree, 245 Zombicidal Maniac, 25 Uncle Dad, 4 Nurse Ratchet, 440 Ventura, 5 D-Day, 58 Schuler, 610 Hef, 8 Yosemite Slam, 9 T-Ice, 90 Beta Switch, and 930 Sin Diesel. Off to his start, and it's going to be...
That is Shaggy for the Race City Rebels picking up the lead. No, he picks up a track cut
he picked
penalty.
up the track cut. I think he started to pick up the lead, but then the track cut had already been called. So lead having been open, it's going to go to Uncle Dad.
We will keep an eye on the penalties, as earlier today, Julius Leeser, Race City Rebels, that 3-point game was due to the fact that there was some penalty trouble, jammer penalties in particular, throughout the course of game 1 of today. Jan continues, and points being looked for by Uncle Dad.
Uncle making his way through a no pass, no penalty, awards him 4 points on that pass.
That opens up the scoring here for Philadelphia.
So Shaggy forces it back in play. Uncle Dad knocked into the inside, coming back through. He does still have control, so he can call it off. Calls it off from the middle of the pack, and that is a 6-point jam for the Hooligans.
So the first jam is in the books. Again, this tournament to settle the 2 final spots for the MRDA Championships in Wales later this year. European qualifier happening in Toulouse recently, and today we figure out the last 2, or not today, but this weekend we figure out the last 2 North American qualifiers.
True facts.
For the Hooligans, it is Beast on the line, jamming.
Doc Flatliner?
Yeah, Doc Flatliner.
So as a switch from earlier, the Rebels are now in white, and the Hooligans are in black. They played in black earlier, so it's already done my head in. So I'm like, what's happened? All right, and it is going to be Beast taking the lead at jammer status for the Hooligans.
Broke right through the pack very, very quickly. Flatliner now finishes his initial pass. Strong wall there by Race City to stop the progress of Beast and limited him to only 3 points on that pass. Nine points on the board for Philadelphia. For the Hooligans, it is Betty Switch facing off against
Liberal.
3 wall on the backside, braced triangle holding back Les Brawl, and that opens the door for Betty Switch to pick up lead jammer once again for the Hooligans.
Clockwise block takes out Speed Tree. So Philadelphia is decking 1 blocker. And
Completing his initial pass, the jam is called. And we are now at 13 points on the board for Philadelphia. 26 minutes, 23 seconds left to go.
Race City yet to pick anything up. Of course, we're just 3 jams in, so no pressure.
Well, yeah, and we're looking at the seeding starting to play out a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, coming in as the number 1 seed is Philadelphia.
Certainly.
And both these teams separated by about 11 spots in the ranking for MRDA.
11 on the nose.
Because math.
Well, you said just about, so I'm here for precision, sir.
I'll say it more, with more assertiveness next time.
Yeah. Be sure of yourself, because I am. Shaggy takes lead, jammer status. Ray City coming in. Sliding right through the pack like it's not there. The last two Hooligans up front held up.
That's D-Day.
It was, well, his kid that was hassling them. I was like, he looks familiar. They changed colors, I swear. So Tree is back in play, but this is the end of that jam. 4 more points for Ray City, bringing them up a 9-point jam, 13-9 now.
Reminiscent of the Rebels game earlier this morning, where just as things might seem out of reach, the Rebels would speed forward and then eventually took control of that bout. So we set up now for our next jam. Doc Flatliner for the Rebels is jamming. For the Hooligans, it is number 25, Uncle Dad.
Uncle Dad having a hard time getting past the Rebels up front. Gonna set Grimace off kilter and then make his way on through to get lead jammer status.
Made it through the pack, but took 2 more shots right after that lead jammer call.
Takes out Philadelphia's Yosemite Slam into the box.
Still looking for his initial pass for the Rebels is Doc Flatliner. And of course, just as I say that, there it is.
It's all good. I already told everybody about the announcer curse like game 1, so we're set for the whole weekend.
You've set us up very well.
Yeah, I know how to do this.
On the line for the Ray City Rebels, it is Wicked Bombshell facing off against number 13, Beast, for the Hooligans. 4-3 pack advantage for the Rebels as this jam gets underway.
Wicked Bombshell taking the line for Ray City.
Bombshell into a braced 3-wall triangle formation on the front side, anchored by number 245 for the Hooligans, Zombicidal Maniac.
Beast is going to come through, takes lead at jammer status. He's got a pretty good clip going on as he approaches the pack. The pack, of course, speeds up because they have no interest in being points.
In the meantime, Star Pass was completed by Wicked Bombshell to Kid, and that jam comes to a close. 4 points put up by Philadelphia on that jam, taking their total to 21-9 for the Rebels. I want to say thank you to those of you who've joined us online on YouTube. The Sailor Sea Slam, first event of its kind, North American qualifier for the Men's Roller Derby Association playoffs. Great to be a part of history, Julie Sleezer, and great to be here with you.
Oh, thank you.
Shaggy jamming for the Rebels.
Betty switch for the Hooligans.
Strong push by Betty Switch to pick up lead jammer.
Takes out number 16, Speed Tree.
About a half-track distance between the two jammers, but Shaggy's closing quickly.
Yeah. Betty slides in backwards and calls it. Nothing picked up that time by Ray City. 1 point for Philadelphia.
Shaggy went airborne, but to no avail.
Yeah. But it looked cool.
It did.
Hey.
Especially from where we're standing.
I'm here to award points in my head based on
Style points?
Style points, yeah.
I like that.
There's a lot of sound effects too, but I won't share them. It'll just bore you.
Oh, I think we'd enjoy that.
You would. But I enjoy being withholding.
D-Day, jamming for the Hooligans. And Doc Flatliner not withholding anything as he pushes against the 3-wall on the front side, and lead jammer is picked up by the Rebels.
The 1 blocker in the box tree is standing and will return to play momentarily. Both jammers so close to each other, it's going to be unlikely there's a full scoring of points just now.
Yeah, the pack speed increasing in relation to what we're seeing, and Doc Flatliner is through. Puts up 4.
The announcer curse works in reverse. I wasn't trying to say he couldn't, but maybe that's the nudge he needed, was being judged.
I was going to say,
No,
yeah,
that
judging does a lot.
Well, I was like, oh, he's just going to make it past the 1. They're all pretty much in a
Spread.
line across the track, so.
Well,
Well done.
The voice of Sleazer is powerful.
But only the opposites can happen, so.
And back to the action we go. Number 25, Uncle Dad, once again jamming for the Hooligans and clears the pack very nimbly for lead jammer.
Les Brawl out there for Race City is having a heck of a time getting through as the pack speeds up. It's not going to help him much. Uncle Dad now coming through, finding his way on the inside, fairly open, and that is going to be a full 5-point pass.
Virtually untouched was Uncle Dad and looking for more as he reapproaches the pack.
Another 5 points with a hop, skip, a jump.
Where I come from, we call that jump pretty.
Are you sure it's not Purdy?
Purdy.
Purdy.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well,
It
where
depends.
I'm from.
Depends from where I'm from.
That's fair. That's fair. So Les Brawl had made it through on his initial. Uncle Dad coming through. He's trying to call it. He's trying to call it. Doesn't matter, wants him to call it, but Sound Guardian didn't want him to call it. So there's a skating out of skating out of bounds. Woo!
Right.
Bounce, 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 bounce.
So the jam continues. Power jam now for the Race City Rebels. And given his gameplay from earlier today, we will see if the Race City Rebels can take advantage of the skills of Les Brawl. Strong work, though, by Tice to slow him down and take precious seconds off of this power jam. 5 points on that last pass for the Rebels to bring them to 18 points.
Les Brawl really trying to work it coming through, not quite capable of doing it. Uncle Dad is back in play and has already started picking up points where he left off, so there's a 4-point pass. In he comes once again, popping through. It's just the pack parts like a seed.
It really does.
It's not been touched in the last 7 passes, no.
Something about his acceleration is causing confusion within the pack because, like you said, it just sort of opens.
Perhaps, you know, he's got psychic abilities that no one's checked.
That might be.
There's nothing in the rules against it. So it's 17 points on that jam. Brought to you by Uncle Dad, bringing him up to 39 for the Hooligans. 7 points for Race City. That is 20 points.
Right now we will see Beast looking for more for the Philadelphia Hooligans, your number 1 seed this weekend. Facing off against Shaggy.
A no pass, no penalty does not allow Beast to have a lead jammer status, which means the lead is still open if Shaggy can take it. The pack once again speeding up with the jammer inside it.
Pace of the pack seems to be the story here in the early going. Lead jammer call goes to Shaggy.
Shaggy's ready to do this. It's funny because he exits the pack and the pack is still hot on his heels just because of the speed they've taken. So now Beast right behind Shaggy. Shaggy is entering the pack, calls it off. I think he's probably picked up 2 more points for Race City. 5 points for the Hooligans. So
Beast
44 to 22.
Yeah, Beast had already pulled out those 5 points. And so 44 to 22, 17 minutes, 21 seconds. The clock is moving here in the first period of game number 4. Salish C Slam. Say that 10 times fast.
No.
No.
You can't make me.
Once again, Betty Switch for the Hooligans facing off against Doc Flatliner. Rebels with a 3-wall on the front side, anchored by number 14, Johnson. Track cut penalty now on Doc Flatliner, and lead jammer Betty Switch goes to work.
So that lead jam goes over to Philadelphia's very own Betty Switch.
Betty Switch forced out and back. Has to recover some of that distance to see if she can make this pass.
Sounds like this was fun, man.
Sleazer, the Rebels, very confident in their walls. Now, as they regroup, Betty Switch having some trouble getting through.
Well, their walls were decisive against keeping Austin back earlier. Of course, Austin adopted the same wall strategy.
Right.
And it looks like Betty Switch forgot you can just enter the box. Oh my gosh. Everybody's so yelly. Okay, everything's cool. They're not yelling at me. Betty Switch was headed to the box, but she was going to take the long way around because I think she forgot just enter where you feel like. And then a penalty assessed to Doc Flatliner. They wanted her to sit first so she could come back on the floor first. And it was
it got a little hairy there for a second.
It was real yelly. It was just real yelly. There's no other way to put it.
I like to describe it as a gentle coaxing.
Is that right?
Tail end of this jam, Doc Flatliner, Betty Switch, both looking for more points, both getting forced out and having to recover that distance. Solid defensive work by both teams as that jam comes to a close. Looks like there might be a penalty that occurred.
Well, I just heard somebody from Rice City say power jam, power jam, power jam, and then the official is indeed pointing, and yeah.
Yeah, it was Betty Switch picked up a penalty. And we have a team timeout by the Hooligans.
Fair enough.
Roller skates. We do.
So once again, thanks for being with us. We want to say thank you to Nerd Roller Skates, one of our sponsors here this weekend, the Salish Sea Slam, North American Qualifier for the Men's Roller Derby Association, and also Save on Foods. Two of our great sponsors here this weekend, Julia Sleazer.
Oh, I was just going to say, you can check out Nerd Skates online.
Yes.
In case you don't have access, it's nerdskates.com.
You can also check juliasleazer.com.
It's not true. My
That's not true at all.
my domain is actually it's late and I'm tired. You laugh, but go ahead and go to it. That's
really your domain?
Yeah, it actually is.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a really bad blog I've kept for a while.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
I'm looking for it after
It's
this
stuff
game.
like, hey, maybe you should submit stuff in roster order. Did you ever consider roster order? That's pretty much my blog, is being like snappy at people about rosters and stuff. Yeah.
You should consider being a sponsor while you're here.
Sir, do I look like I have money? I'd love to sponsor something. I would sponsor the jam line, so you'd have to say my name over and over
Oh,
and
my
over and
goodness.
over.
Oh, my gosh. Then I would have to sponsor the Piggy Fatness penalty box. This kind of event takes so much from so many people.
Yes.
And Sleazer, as I walked through the venue, I have really, I mean, you've been around in this area calling, and I want to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've called in this venue before for other events. It's a beautiful venue, Richmond Olympic Oval. I can't say enough about it. We'll talk about that in a bit. Right now, we'll get back to the track.
Betty Switch, of course, sitting in the box. Shaggy out there trying to get lead. Kid now re-entering play, hopefully can help him out. And a forearms has been called, but lead jammer status has been awarded to Shaggy, so those forearms are for other people. I believe that's Zombie. Zombicidal Maniac. All right, Betty Switch is now back in play. She's well around the track from the pack, of course.
Rebels blockers doing a great job of creating space for Shaggy to pick up 5 points on that pass.
Ooh. Betty Switch barely keeping it in bounds. Not having a problem in the middle, though. It's going to be called off before she can get around, but that was an excellent way to come out of an initial.
Past the halfway point of this first period, Ray City hanging on. 33 points on the board, 49 for Philadelphia. Picking up where they left off in terms of their intensity are the Ray City Rebels, who've looked really impressive so far.
Definitely. So we got 2 of the Philadelphia blockers in the box. One is standing, one is seated. So that puts pack advantage, of course, to Ray City.
Wicked Bombshell looking to take advantage of that situation. And she's through on the inside, lead jammer.
Ooh, D-Day is having a heck of a time keeping up on his skates, I should say. I swear, I feel like the floor is maybe different than what people are used to being on. So there takes a little bit of adjustment. So we saw it earlier with Ray City and Austin. There was like a little adjustment period.
Yeah, the floor is being described to me by the skaters I've talked to as spongy. And
Is it
so
really?
it's affecting the way in which they can increase their speed.
Huh.
So
Yeah, I have not walked on the sport court, but it's laid on top of concrete. So must be squashy sport court.
yeah, there's something about the surface that it sits on, they're saying, that makes it feel a bit, it feels different.
It's
so
not concrete.
It's not.
We're standing on rubber.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Because I was like, pretty sure this is concrete, but I touched it. It's not.
It's not.
Science.
It's something different, and we have a timeout being called by the Ray City Rebels at 12 minutes 6 seconds. As you mentioned earlier, the Ray City Rebels advancing to this point earlier by defeating Austin Anarchy, and what was a back-and-forth game.
Oh,
Lead
man.
changes galore.
That was amazing.
149 to 146, the final score on that one earlier today. Anarchy will move on to play tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. These brackets, again, we're looking to fill the final 2 spots in the Men's Roller Derby Association Championships that will take place in Wales. I know you're excited about that event, Julius Leeser.
I'm always excited about MRDA champs. This is my 1 millionth in a row.
Wow. I've only got 2 MRDA tournaments under my
This will
belt.
be 6
That's amazing.
out of 7 available.
This is why I want to be like you.
Maybe when you're older. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it takes a little bit of cat, a little bit of reclusiveness.
A little bit of social awkwardness.
Yeah. Just you can't have enough of that.
Right. And what we can't have enough of is roller derby as we get back to the action. And it is the Hooligans who pick up lead jammer courtesy of number 25, Uncle Dad, who's had an impressive few jams this first period.
Shaggy doing excellent footwork, but not quite capable of escaping the pack, and is just now going to be able to leave. One last swipe from Nurse Ratchet. Doesn't quite make it, though.
Picking up 4, Uncle Dad calls it off. Again, respecting the speed of Shaggy. And calls it off. 11 minutes, 26 seconds. 53 to 37, the Philadelphia Hooligans. Not the Hoogans, the Hooligans. So back to this venue. 2010 Winter Olympics saw the creation of the Richmond Olympic Oval. I've seen so many different things here. Basketball courts. There's a rock climbing wall.
Yes.
It's an amazing venue.
There's a gym upstairs with what appears to be long jump ropes, but they're not. They're
Yes.
like super heavy. I was like, is that guy an international jump roping star? No. I don't go to the gym very often, as you can see. Beast has lead jammer status for the Philadelphia Hooligans.
Doc Flatliner battling to try to get past the 3 wall of Hooligans. But that is not happening. Beast picking up 5 points as he was able to lap the Ray City Rebels jammer.
And a multiplayer block taking Ventura.
Multiplayer block now as the Hooligans lose a blocker, number 440. That is Ventura, who will sit down.
Coming through, Beast is going to call it off after sliding as far through the pack as he could. And it was a 3-point pass there. Nothing picked up that time by Ray City, so an 8-point jam for the Hooligans. 61 to 37, we are right at the 10-minute there. Mark, I have to wait.
Yeah.
I have to be precise.
For those of you who waited 20 minutes to join us, shame on you, but welcome.
Hello,
This is Game 4. My name is Piggy Fatness, and I am with the awesome
Julius Leeser.
Julius Leeser. Back to the track we go. Once again, Betty Switch with the star for the Hooligans.
It's gonna
Facing
be
off against
Les Brawl.
Les Brawl, better known as
Liberal.
3 wall by the Hooligans, braced by number 245, Zombicidal Maniac. Working alongside Mainframe and also Nurse Ratchet. Hard hit there against Betty Switch, but quickly back up. Sleazer, I see hits like that, and I know it's kind of cliche to make these kind of comments, but ouch.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not interested in them. You know.
I feel safe right
Good
here.
for them. Yeah. Betty Switch taking lead after nearly 50 seconds has elapsed in this jam. So the Hooligans once again in charge of this. Les Brawl getting knocked out to the outside. He's got the star in hand. We don't know if he has intention to actually pass it off to Quad Almighty. Perhaps. And he does. It's broken up by Ventura. Ventura now separating the two friends.
He said, not here, not now.
There's a time and a place.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's now. That's now. You're just being that guy. So a 5-point jam, Philadelphia 66-37. We got that 5-second call up.
8 minutes remaining in this first period as once again we see D-Day for the Hooligans and Shaggy for the Rebels. Lead jammer for the Hooligans. D-Day picks up the call.
Ventura headed back to the box once again. D-Day now coming in to score. There's a full complement of blockers in the back waiting for him.
Shaggy did complete his initial pass. Jam is called off. And 4 points takes the Hooligans to 70 as they have kept up a methodical pace over the course of the last 2 or 3 jams, putting those few points up, calling it off, taking time off of the clock here on the first period.
Definitely.
So we are in Richmond, British Columbia, Vancouver.
We're right next to Vancouver.
Right.
Yeah, like
I was going to say tomato,
they
but
kind
not
of
quite.
overlap, I think.
Yeah.
I know I took a wrong turn and then I was in Vancouver and I was like, okay, this is fine. Everything's fine.
Everything is fine as the jammer for the Race City Rebels, Doc Flatliner, picks up lead jammer, needing to gain some momentum for his team here in the last few minutes of this first period.
Uncle Dad, about a quarter of the way the track away from the pack. Ooh, coming through. Doc Flatliner flatlining somebody as he makes his way out of the pack. 4 points on the board for Race City. And he's going to see how many he can rack up as this jam in which he has lead, which it's been a minute since Race City has gotten lead.
That's the thing about Flatliner, one of the key jammers for the victory earlier and keeping them in this game, or keeping them in their game earlier today. Right now he calls it. But again, so quick to get through the pack, picks up a quick 8 points to take Race City to 45.
Philadelphia at 74, having picked up 4 points in that jam. 5:50 left in this half. Not too bad of a point spread.
No, not at all. Again, these teams that are here this weekend, well matched. This game, 1 seed versus a 4 seed. And it's playing out as we might expect. But again, Rebels have a lot left in them as Wicked Bombshell jamming, trying to get through. Right now it is Beast who is the lead jammer for the Philadelphia Hooligans. And picks up a penalty. That is a high block that's going to send him to the box. Wicked Bombshell still trying to complete the initial pass.
Shell had star in hand, passed it off to Quad Almighty.
Absorbed a really, really big hit as she was coming back onto the track. Quad Almighty now with the star.
Quad Almighty really having a hard time getting past Race City's wall. All 4 blockers concentrated on, all 4 blockers concentrated on him. Currently, multiplayer block is called on a Hooligan blocker, so that may make the wall a little bit weaker.
That will be Yosemite Slam who's approaching the penalty box. Beast, though, just unstoppable. Puts up another 5 points. Quad Almighty drawn way back into turn 2. Had to reclaim that distance and forced out again. The Hooligans blockers, their style of blocking and movement is so chaotic at times that once you get forced out, it's kind of hard to make sure that you come back behind the right blocker.
Right.
So
just go back behind all of them.
Yeah, exactly. It's best
scary.
to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but very effective blocking by the Hooligans.
Was that the natural conclusion?
That is the natural conclusion. It definitely was.
This was a fast 2 minutes. I just feel like everything's going so quickly this weekend.
Which means dinner. No, you're right. The pace of it has moved really well. Everything's gone very smoothly. Even in games where we might have had a couple of minutes delay like this one to get started, we seem to recapture that time because of the pace of how things are moving. So,
yeah, no, I guess each team has taken a timeout this half, but that's all.
Sure.
So, and there hasn't been a lot of official reviews in that. So, chugging away, Betty Switch has lead jammer status for the Hooligans.
For the Rebels, it is Shaggy, but he is caught way behind on a 3-wall by the Hooligans blockers.
Car Bomb landed a huge hit on Switch and taking them back. Bomb meeting up with Zechner, forming a little 2-man wall. Switch is going to go ahead and call it off, having picked up 4 points. Nothing picked up that time by the Rebels. 88-45 in favor of the Hooligans.
Within the context of the games that I've seen so far today, Sleazer, we mentioned Carbomb a moment ago. He has dealt out some of the biggest hits that I've seen here in the 2 games that I've seen him play. So, again, it's players like him that are keeping the Rebels in this bout.
Certainly. Wow. Just 2 seconds in.
Yeah.
Just popped on the outside, the left lane 1 wide open, and he had it. So
that's been the thing we've seen from D-Day, the quick strikes, getting behind or getting from out behind the pack. Let me try that again because words. He gets out quick. Picks up 5.
He's real fast.
He goes forward really quickly.
Yosemite Slam back in the box, taking the Hooligans down by 1, and it is going to be the end of that jam. A 5-point jam for the Hooligans. Nothing again picks up by Race City, 93-45.
Coming up to a minute 15 seconds left in this first period. Race City Rebels taking on the Philadelphia Hooligans. As this bracket will determine one of the 2 spots that will be filled at the Men's Roller Derby Association Championships later this year. Right now we have number 72 for the Race City Rebels. That is Les Brawl. That's jamming, but it's number 25, Uncle Dad. Familiar position as we've seen all period long, picking up lead jammer quickly off the line. Completing the initial pass is Les Brawl for the Rebels. Uncle Dad makes a pass, calls it off, and picks up 4. Caesar, we have time for one more, it looks like.
Do you have time for the worst joke?
Yes.
All right, this is brought to you by Tugboat. I hear the Philly Jammers have been hitting the gym to get hooligans.
And
you know what my face looks like right now, right?
Yeah, I'm looking right at it.
Woo!
Who was the genius?
That's Tugboat. That's Tugboat.
Yes,
Tugboat who doesn't want to be friends anymore.
You win. Back to the track. Shaggy for the Race City Rebels. Betty Switch for the Philadelphia Hooligans. Pack in a just cluster there in the beginning of turn 1, but Shaggy breaks out of it, as does Betty Switch. Betty Switch about a quarter track distance behind Shaggy. Pack is increasing speed.
All right, that is our final jam of this half. Brilliantly executed. One of the fast jams. 1 point picked up by Race City, but hard earned. Nothing picked up that time by the Hooligans. We're going to leave you for theoretically 14 minutes, but I believe probably more like 9. 97-46 in favor of the Hooligans.
246, Race City.
That was a test and you all failed. There's been an official by, who's blinking? No one? Somebody took it. No, it's certainly
Official
someone.
review.
If you can text me fast enough to tell me who's taken that official review, you will be awarded one namesay on this broadcast.
It was actually initiated by the Race City
That's
Rebels.
what I thought. Okay.
So here we are.
All right. Well, you know what? While we're standing around like this, with not to do, I have been keeping an unofficial tally, and it's probably close
Yeah.
of the penalties since we're standing behind the penalty box.
Okay.
And so it looks like nobody's really in penalty trouble. Car Bomb looks to have gone to the box 5 times, but on each side we got 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 13 on the Hooligan side, 3, 8, 9, 10, 10 on the Rebel side, and Power Jam's given away. Rebels have given away about 2, and Hooligans have given away about 4. And there is as statsy as I can be. I do not have stats in front of me.
So we will go with the unofficial.
It's super
stats.
unofficial.
Yes.
I forget stuff all the time.
So I believe we are officially at halftime.
Yeah,
There
this-
was an official review that was initiated by the Rebels regarding a late hit.
Yeah, they wanted a late hit, but it was just
Yeah.
no
No impact.
call stands. Yeah, there was no
Right.
impact to the game, and that's what's important. Actually, I foolishly got in an internet argument,
No.
as I tend to do. I didn't go into iDerby or anything, but somebody was showing a drill, and in the drill, this guy is coming at a skater, and she puts her arm out to receive him, and then she's being skated backwards.
Yeah.
And they're like, forearms. There's no impact to the game.
Right.
She's touched him and nothing's happened. He's still capable of making that block. So impact. I'll leave you with that to think about.
Nerd Roller Skates is your dedicated quad roller skate shop in Calgary, Alberta.
Being a nerd is about being really excited and really passionate about a really specific
And we are back. We are about a minute and change away from the beginning of the second period. I am Piggy Fatness, and I'm here with
Julia Sleazer.
Julia Sleazer. It has been a hard-hitting first half here with the Philadelphia Hooligans, #1 seed in this tournament, up against the Ray City Rebels, playing their second game today. And it's been a doozy.
No, it certainly has. I've liked how close the score has kept, though, because Hooligans currently ranked at 11 in the MRDA, and Ray City currently at 22. And as you know, sometimes the difference between like a couple of slots can really be blowout material, but
Right.
That's not the case today. So I'm really pleased with how tight both these teams are keeping it and the effort they're putting in.
Yeah, we're going to see what adjustments are made by the Rebels and the Hooligans. We want to say thank you to all of you who are joining us online on YouTube for this event. The Salish Sea Slam, first North American qualifier for the Men's Roller Derby Association.
If you
And-
are enjoying this feed, you could help fund it
Yeah.
by PayPaling anything you like to finance at mainlandmisfits.com. Literally anything would be cool.
Salish Sea Slam.
Production,
Every
of
little
course.
bit helps.
Production, of course, very expensive.
Yes.
Something we don't always think about, but really pricey.
So we have got the 5-second call, and we are ready to get back to the action as Shaggy is wearing the star, jamming for the Rebels. The Hooligans are now jamming number 25, Uncle Dad.
Uncle Dad getting knocked out to the outside. As you said his name, having cursed him. He's going to be back in the back, but swiftly partway through. Oh, Shaggy nearly out, takes a spill to the inside, is going to have to come back around. That gives Uncle Dad the open time to get lead jammer status.
I know it's just the first jam of the second period, but that time, well, I was about to say that first pass was the most contact we'd seen on Uncle Dad so far. The second
Right.
time through, he just goes right through the inside line very smoothly. Looking for more and calls it off.
3 more points for the Hooligans, bringing them up an 8-point jam, 105. Ray City still at 46.
For those of you online, the Rebels are in white, the Hooligans wearing black. And we now have Doc Flatliner for the Rebels jamming. And we also have the Hooligans number 13, Beast. Both teams setting up triangle walls, and Beast is through first. Doc Flatliner forced back and drawn back by number 4 from the Hooligans, Nurse Ratchet.
Beast coming through pretty cleanly. Not a lot of trouble for him. In front of him, though, Doc Flatliner, so he's going to go ahead and call it off. It's 5 points picked up by the Hooligans. We're now up to 110.
That will bring Betty Switch to the line for the Hooligans. Les Brawl jamming for the Rebels. Full slate of blockers on the track from both sides. Jam is underway. Betty Switch pushing forward through to the front side of the pack. Forced out, but quickly back on after a shot from Kidd. Now a 4-wall by the Rebels. And a beautiful spin move on the inside. Betty Switch clears for lead jammer.
Les Brawl taking off the start. Looked like he had intended to pass it, but I believe that was broken up.
As Betty Switch takes the lead jam, 1 more.
Switch coming in, popping through. Not a lot of contact once again. 5 more points.
So you can see her taking the lead yet again in second.
Hooligans pushing their advantage with an additional 5. Apex jump attempt by Betty Switch.
Ah,
Not successful.
danger, danger.
Danger.
Not the face.
She did take a huge hit, but again, right back up. From a jamming standpoint, you got to take those risks sometimes. They don't always work, but here is the number 1 seed trying to prove that they deserve to be in that spot. All of their athletes going full speed here, which we also see from the Rebels, who now have Wicked Bombshell jamming alongside number 5, D-Day, who's had some really impressive jams late in the first period.
Yeah, certainly. This jam underway. Shell popping past her own skaters, coming up front, lastly held back by Special Ed. Gets through lead jammer status awarded to Race City.
Bombshell with some great footwork to free herself through the pack and pushes through again, puts up 5.
Zechner had clocked D-Day to the inside and recycled him back, and he's still recovering from that. Shell coming in once again. Not so easily through this time, but still.
Eases through for 5 more, bringing the total of this jam to 10 for the Race City Rebels.
Coming in one more time.
Hooligan blockers were on the backside of the pack preparing for the Rebels' next attempt at a pass. And as you can see, Julia, you've got, Sleazer, we've got the Rebels blockers just causing as much commotion as possible.
Right.
They know how tough those hooligan walls have been. 15 points.
D-Day had made it out of the pack,
Yes.
but very far away. Couldn't have possibly scored. Yeah, 15 points. An awesome jam for Race City. Hooligans picked up nothing that time.
Yeah.
It's been quite some time since there's been a nothing jam for the Hooligans. 117 to Race City's 61. 24 and a half minutes left in this game.
Shaggy looking for more, but right now it is Uncle Dad, lead jammer for the Philadelphia Hooligans.
Uncle Dad coming in, busting up those Race City walls like, whew. But does get knocked to the inside. He's going to have to come back through. See if he's so lucky the second time through. Well, maybe luckier.
He's like, okay, I'll do it again.
If I must. Shaggy is through, having completed his initial. The pack about mid-clip. Race City up front, now being busted up by the Hooligans. There have been some interesting lands on this one. Just
When you've got Uncle Dad jamming as smoothly as he is, sometimes the only answer is speed up the pack and try to stay away. So we saw the Rebels do that on a couple of occasions in the first period. Now we saw them do it again.
And then, of course, to answer that, break them up.
Exactly.
Bust them up, mix them up through the pack, and now points.
Doc Flatliner now jamming for the Rebels of Race City, and it is D-Day. Beast, I'm sorry. Thank you. Beast.
Beast trying to beast it up against Grimace, not quite capable of doing it. He gets knocked to the outside, but Grimace is going to get penalty for forearms for that. Beast coming back to the back.
Hop, skip, and a jump through that apex, and Beast picks up the lead jammer call.
Doc has now completed his initial. About half the track away from the pack, though. Slowing down around turn 3. And Beast is going to call it off, and high five, Quad Almighty.
Quad Almighty bringing that to a stop, but not before 3 more points were put on the board by the Hooligans. Once again, if you're watching online, thank you for being with us. In the black jerseys are the Philadelphia Hooligans. In white with green are the Race City Rebels. Betty Switch jamming for the Hooligans. Les Brawl jamming for the Rebels. Betty Switch forced to the infield. Quick to recover, but right into a Rebels 3 wall. That gives the advantage to Les Brawl for the Rebels.
See if he can shore up some points. Switch is taken off the star. I don't believe it's been passed. No, it's still in hand. she'd like to hand it. I think she started to hand it like while out of bounds, which can lead to trouble.
Clearing and completing the initial pass is Switch. And 3 more points tacked on there at the end by Race City. So we have Indiana and Philadelphia represented here on the track. This North American qualifier featuring teams from Canada and the United States, which makes sense because North America.
Yeah. Yep.
That has to be part of the requirement, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I didn't check the rules, but
Yeah,
according to the name. Uncle Dad out there once again is through first, but I assume a no pass, no penalty is occurred, and he does not get lead. So lead is still open if Shell can obtain it. Shell taking a huge slide out to the outside and coming back in.
Gotta say, on that first pass by Uncle Dad, Special Ed, key block to open up that inside lane.
Right.
You know, we talk about how the waters seem to part for Uncle Dad, but we cannot take it away from the Hooligans blockers who know
certainly.
exactly where to be to help create that space.
Yeah.
But I could imagine going from the six sports court to the sponge.
So there has been a star pass to Quad Almighty, which means lead is closed. Lead was open for Shell.
Right.
But the minute she takes that off, it's finished. Uncle Dad wanted to call it, but can't.
Right.
I don't know if you're aware of this. Only the lead can call it.
Yeah.
I'm full of facts.
Uncle Dad forced to the infield, but was able to get quickly back on as the blocker who hit him was off track as well.
Ooh, Quad Almighty taking that open outside, picking up 4 points. So now a 8-point jam for the Rebels, a 17-point jam currently for Philadelphia. They've still got 30 seconds-ish left. And Uncle Dad comes back through one more time. Let's see what he's got. 4 more points. Quad Almighty now about to overtake him and does so. So it's a 4-4 right there. 21-12. It's a Taco Cat, whatever those are. I can't remember the word ever. Taco Cat, you guys know.
Uncle Dad, in a rare moment where he gets blocked out and forced back, taking his time. As the jam comes to its natural conclusion, we'll look for a final score update. 24 points by Uncle Dad for Philadelphia, 14 for Race City, 150-78, 18 minutes, 34 seconds.
Palindrome.
That's the word. I would not have thought of that.
Goldie messaged me.
There you go.
I started to Google it, and she's like, palindrome. Dude.
So shout out to our friend Goldie.
Thanks, Miss Gloves. All right. The jam has started. Just so you know, Beast out there for the Hooligans. And
Shaggy out there for the Rebels. Both
that.
behind strong defensive walls.
Woo. It's a stopper jam, a slower jam, but it looks like a more power sapping jam. It takes a lot to stay in place like that. So Beast now, having been awarded lead, comes up upon the pack. They are stopped around turn 1. He's doing a lot of pirouetting around. A star pass has occurred, given off to number 317, who is Kid.
Sin Diesel putting together a key block to break up that Rebel wall that allowed Beast to get through, and now calling off the jam.
Star passes from the Race City Rebels over the course of the game. Making it 6.
You know, when we're in this game long enough, especially as announcers, we get to a point where we don't like to sort of say cliche things.
Whoa.
But
not.
there is the element of fatigue that
Yes.
the Rebels, this second game today.
Well, also, what I was going to say when we were talking about the floor earlier, the tiniest amount of squish means it's going to take it away from your legs.
Right.
And you might not initially notice it, but you'll become more tired more quickly.
Sure.
And so since this floor is just ever so slightly spongy with sport court on top of it, I'm sure that is like giving people a little bit of trouble as well. I don't think it's cliched to point out fatigue. Sometimes you get fatigued.
Right. And I don't want to take anything away from the Rebels, but
Oh, no.
the Hooligans have come in and have come in strong. Right now, though, they lose their jammer to the penalty box. due to a track cut. So now power jam for the Rebels, and that is Doc Flatliner. And I'll quote one of our watchers on YouTube: you don't want to give a power jam up to Doc Flatliner.
Well, it's happened.
No
matter what you desire.
Whether you want to or not, here we are. Flatliner through quickly, puts up 5, looking for more.
I think that is the first power jam of this half, though.
Unofficially, officially,
Sure,
possibly. Yeah. Doc Flatliner with a beautiful apex jump to put up 5 more points for the Race City Rebels. Forget what I said about fatigue.
Johnson assessed that as a woo, and I agree wholeheartedly.
Betty Switch completing her time in the penalty box on the track.
All right, Switch back in play, but is not for long, as there is a blocking with the head having been assessed.
So here we are, once again, power jam, and it's still Doc Flatliner getting an assist from Quad Almighty. 3-wall consisting of Yosemite Slam, mainframe, and the jam is called.
Woo!
Woo, indeed.
14-point jam for Race City Rebels. Nothing picked up that time by Philadelphia. Of course, Switch having gone to the box twice.
What was that silliness I said about fatigue?
Oh, you're setting them up so they're like, oh, well.
Nothing but love for the teams here this weekend as the Race City Rebels send number 52, first time appearing on the jam line, Car Bomb with the star.
Multiplayer block being called presumably on Hooligans, but a blocking with the head being called on Car Bomb. I believe that is his 6th time to the box. Let me look at the penalty tracker's hands and see if I can confirm my rightness. 6 point, yes.
Car Bomb with an attempt to try to make something happen, but came in and dipped that head.
Yeah.
And now Betty Switch picks up the lead jammer call. Although, it was a forearm penalty that is called. So she will head to the box as well, and we will get a switch out as Car Bomb.
Between these last 2 jams, Betty has gone to the box 3 times. And that can certainly take a toll. So we've got a full minute left. Car Bomb has re-entered the pack and is mowing through it. 440 interested in chasing him out. That's Ventura. Car Bomb through, of course not lead.
Switch has completed her time in the penalty box.
So at this point, his team's pretty happy because their cameras on scoring pass.
Car Bomb looking for some space. Ventura alongside his teammates doing a great job of slowing down Car Bomb, but he is through on the inside. No. Did get forced to the infield, will recycle.
Everybody's going to the box.
I think it's because they want to be close to us.
Yeah, well.
Car Bomb putting up 5 points on that last pass for Race City, who will eclipse the century mark as a result. Speed Tree Ventura going up against Car Bomb, and that is the end of the jam. Very eventful jam from a penalty standpoint, Julie Sleazer.
Yeah, I don't think a queue was formed, but so close.
Yeah.
It was penalty, 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 penalty.
And we have an official timeout that has been called.
Here goes Carr.
Once again, if you're joining us online, thank you for being with us. I wanted to do, if I may, just a little bit of a special shout out. I always love it when I get messages as we're calling games, Sleazer, when it's non-Derby friends that are watching.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
So I'd like to send out a shout out to, well, I call her Seamus, but her name is Erin, coworker of mine who's discovering Derby as we speak. So thanks for joining us, Erin. We've got some things going on in the box, Sleazer.
Yeah, Car Bomb sat for his final penalty. He's being replaced by Doc Flatliner. I just need you to know, Doc Flatliner, sin-free. He's done nothing wrong. He's just sitting down for Car Bomb. So.
Pure in heart, pure in intent.
No. Not a man pure. I was going to say it's a driven snow, but then I can see his jersey. Looks white, kind of white. No, I'm just playing.
Right now, though, if there's a hooligan you don't want to give up a power jam to, it's Uncle Dad. And
yeah, but it's happening. Once again, here we are.
yes, Uncle
All right,
Dad.
lead taken. Couple. Quad Almighty, last one to tag him. Doc Flatliner is standing. And here we go.
The thing is, no points given up on that power jam. Uncle Dad able to make a pass through. Flatliner looking to clear the apex, but
Yeah.
not quite. Flatliner taking a shot at Uncle Dad. And as soon as we talk about pure, Doc Flatliner picks up a penalty for a blocking out of bounds. He will report to the penalty box and power jam once again Uncle Dad and the Philadelphia Hooligans. Nurse Ratchet picking up a penalty, heads to the penalty box as well for the Hooligans. Uncle Dad looking for a pass straight through the middle of the pack, facing off against the Rebels number 317, Kid, and through. 5 points.
Uncle Dad dreaming that dream of 5 points.
All right, Doc Flatliner once again standing. Luckily for him, the pack is right in front of him. Zombie's going to take him back just a little bit, having his eye on the re-entry. And as he comes back in with Zombie, Zombie leads him right into that Triforce.
Yeah.
But what is that? The wide open inside.
Exactly.
Please.
Come right in.
Oh, it's you.
Doc Flatliner
Woof.
not quite able to put points on the board. Uncle Dad puts up another 18, 172 to 100 as we approach 10.5 minutes left. Second period, game 4. And we will keep going after this particular game is in the books. We will go to game 5.
Denver ground control up against Montreal Mont-Royals.
That should be a fun one to watch, so make sure you stay with us for more action. But right now, we've still got business on the track. Beast jamming for the Hooligans, facing off against Shaggy for the Rebels. 2 all on the front side by the Rebels, trying to slow down Beast, but he is able to burst through with a nice little spin that splits that 2 all.
That's a 4.
Got a kind of fast pack. Beast just taking his time getting there. It's
Yeah.
all good. Shaggy, less interested in taking his time. Beast coming in, swinging backwards. He's going to call it off. And
Low block
oh, ouch. Okay.
has been called.
That's-
Oh,
yeah,
so
a little bit of a spill resulting in a
Yeah.
low block. There doesn't have to be intense.
yeah.
It's control, you know. So
So the penalty is called on Beast,
Over to Race City.
and we
well, yeah.
have an official
Hooligans. Well, you know, I don't like to speculate.
Right.
Or do I?
review. I think you do. So
Do.
speculate
I love wild
away.
speculation. Well, give me a minute. Now I put myself on the spot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when the smoke clears, it's Beast that's in the box. After what, for all intents and purposes, looked like it might have gone the other way. So we'll find out
Yeah.
what indeed is happening.
Oh, I was going to make up something funny, but I've got now that we stayed serious. Yeah, Beast is in the box. If you did not catch it, there was a little bit of a spill at turn 4, and he's assessed a low block. The bench is Beast's bench is right there, so perhaps the coach believes she had a better view on it than the referees, and they will be discussing that. And hopefully, Dell from Hell will come and tell us what the what is.
Speaking of Del from Hell, Sleazer, you call a lot in this area, and Del from Hell, one of the many fine officials we have here this weekend
Yeah.
that have been doing a bang-up job throughout the weekend. I'm sure you're proud
Yeah.
of your buddy Del and everyone else out there.
Dell is my brother, so I am, of course. And Dell is also the regional representative for the Pacific Northwest MRDA officials.
Right.
And so, of course, I love seeing him.
Yeah, it's one of the great things of events of this type is we get to see so much talent in every aspect, whether it's the NSOs, whether it's the referees on the track, the players and athletes, of course, even folks like you and I, perhaps.
Perhaps.
It's a fun time to celebrate our sport
It's a who's who.
It really is. And
doing
in my
stuff.
case, it's a who's that.
Yeah, I feel really bad. So I'm usually really good at introducing people because it's a grown-up thing, and I'm all like, I'm a grown-up. But I keep forgetting that I'm so used to. Okay, so I'm not used to being around you, but I feel like every time we hang out, it's so natural that I'm like, clearly you know everyone I know, and you don't. So
Well,
this is an amazing.
this is a
tournament.
part of the world that I need to get out to more, I guess. It's just it's my own fault. The
Yeah,
Derby Nomad
I've been
doesn't quite go
guilt-tripping
into the
you.
Pacific Northwest much yet, but
And the referee said that was an embellishment, and so they called upon the embellishment for it, and the call did stand. So the Beast will stay in the box for this jam.
okay, so the reason that the penalty was called on Beast, to clarify this official review, is that it was determined that Beast actually moved into position to try to draw the call, an embellishment, so to speak. And so because of that, the penalty was assessed to Beast. And we'll get to the full result here.
Is in the tie in this game for the most points scored for this team. So we saw him get 14 points 4 games ago.
So we are getting reset.
So again, the reason for the penalty,
There you have it.
embellishing and trying to draw the call.
So with this lead jam,
Oh my.
or with this power jam being next to
So we get back to the track. This will be a power start for the Race City Rebels, number 72.
Liberal.
Les Brawl jamming for the Rebels.
Oh, well, now it's not. They changed it just to mess
Whoa,
around.
that was-
Now it's number 70. Doc Flatliner.
Yeah,
No,
wow.
he
Hey,
just went off. No, we didn't see craziness. Les Brawl was like,
Okay.
I'll be on my way.
I was just so confused there for a second.
Of course, Race City sitting right on the century mark. Lead jammer status awarded. Beast is standing in the box.
No confusion there, as Doc Flatliner, as you mentioned, Sleazer is the lead jammer and puts up 5 points quickly for the Race City Rebels. 105 is their point total. Beast trying to complete his initial pass and does.
Yowzy. Quad Almighty taking a little bit of a clip from Beast. Not quite able to keep it up on this floor. Takes a little bit of a spill, but rejoins the pack easily. A 9-point jam for the Rebels. 109 to 173 from the Hooligans.
Approaching 8 minutes left in this second period. 1 seed Philadelphia Hooligans facing off against the 4 seed, the Race City Rebels. Had a very impressive win, hard-fought win earlier this morning to get to this point.
Certainly.
And here we are as the Hooligans look to move forward.
So you've got just over 7.5 minutes left in this half. A 60-something point spread. D-Day has lead jammer status and can probably eke out a little more of a lead here in a second. Les Brawl now jamming. Is through on his initial, but also has been assessed, I'm going to say, oh, I see, high block.
Yes,
I was trying to guess from the hand back here, and I was like, no block? High block.
high block. That gives D-Day the power jam for the Hooligans as they are looking to maintain the pressure, maintain the momentum, and finish this one strong. 5 more points on the board for D-Day and the Philadelphia Hooligans to take their total to 183.
Rebels trying to kill this penalty. Johnson out there trying to keep him back away from his teammates. Les Brawl has been released from the box and will be re-entering the pack just a few seconds.
multiplayer block, taking the kid, the pivot for Race City into the box.
Tail end of that jam, Kid gets sent to the penalty box, so that will leave the Rebels down a blocker as we get set for this next jam.
A 13-point jam for Hooligans, 186 to 109.
The story of this second period really has been the fact that the Hooligans have just been given so many multi-point, high-point jams over the course of the last 10, 12 minutes or so. And so they've pushed their advantage to 186 to 109, approaching 6 minutes. Uncle Dad looking for more, lead jammer. Wicked bombshell stuck behind a strong Hooligans wall and forced back now by number 245 of the Hooligans, the ever-present Zombicidal Maniac.
Coming through after having picked up 5 points. Uncle Dad, special ed, having a seat in the box.
Nine points and a call-off will send the Philadelphia Hooligans point total to 195. Ray City puts up 2 at the tail end there to get to 111. So these are dominating performance here, especially in the second period, by the Hooligans. So they will advance and look
hold
to...
on. We got 5 minutes.
Good point. They will try to finish this one strong.
Don't challenge them. You did it earlier, and you remember what happened.
Yes, I know. You think I'd learn.
Beast out of the pack, beasting it up. Coming in, such speed. Of course, the pack has not quite made it past turn 1 at this point. Ventura trying to help break up the Rebels as his jammer comes through. At the same time, Shaggy meets the back of the pack. Does pick up 2 more points, it looks like. Ooh, I see a thumb. 3. Say 4-3 jam, 199 to 114. Called fairly quickly.
Once again, stay with us. Right after this, the conclusion of this game, we will move to Game 5, which will feature the Montreal Mont Royals taking on Denver Ground Control. Both teams playing their second game of the day.
Ooh. Oh, track cut. I was like, wow, he got through. Oh, I see.
Track cut, less brawl. Betty Switch with an opportunity now to pick up lead jammer for the Hooligans.
Definitely.
3-wall now facing Betty Switch. And she is through. What a beautiful move to get through that pack.
And Betty coming in, the pack standing on, or standing between, I should say, turns 1 and 2. Betty coming in, her own team, again, trying to bust up the Race City Rebels. Les Brawl is standing in the box.
Betty Switch picking up a penalty. That is a forearm that will send her to the box. That's going to switch the power jam now to the Rebels for Les Brawl and company to try to put a few more points on the board here. Les Brawl battling against the Hooligans, who force him out at the top portion of turn 1. Quickly recycles back behind the Nurse Ratchet and the rest of the Hooligans.
That was Betty Switch's 6th time in, I believe. And also, I think about 4 times in as a jammer specifically, so.
But it was also a penalty kill for the Hooligans.
Certainly.
That, again, firing on all cylinders here.
Oh, yeah.
In their first game.
When you get to this level of competition, endurance is like pretty key.
Sure.
And so we were saying earlier, I was like, I hope they're not getting fatigued because it's a big part of it.
Right. Well, and my thought was basically around the notion that the Rebels are playing their second game. And we have a forearm penalty at this point on Betty Switch.
I think that's it.
And you're right, that might be it. Let's see what occurs during this switch.
I believe that's also the 10th power jam the Hooligans will give up. Yeah. Looks like Beast will have a seat in the box. Oh. Beast sitting for Switch. Switch off to take her skates off and hang out.
Still, though, doing a lot of hard work with Betty Switch to contribute to this win, or to where we are. You've got me just...
If it made you paranoid?
Yes.
All right. Lead jammer goes to Shaggy.
Shaggy now battling against the 3-wall by the Hooligans on the front side. Gets forced out just at the last moment and recycles.
Man. Nearly through. Shaggy is now off to the box, having cut the track. But he's not alone. He comes in with a friend.
Yep.
So Speed Tree and Shaggy.
In the last minute of the clock.
Yeah, this is going to have to be it, isn't it?
It looks like it may have to be, given how much time we have left. So I can now confidently say that this looks like it could possibly be.
Race City could
maybe.
call. Hold up. Race City could call an official review right at. Huh? They could contest something and, I don't know. No, it's happening.
Beast is cleared, making his initial pass. And 5 points there by Shaggy for the Rebels. Again, taking nothing away from the Race City Rebels, who had an impressive win earlier this morning. Came in against the number 1 seed Philadelphia Hooligans. Kept it as close as possible, but the Hooligans just strong in all aspects of their game.
Yeah, certainly.
I think going forward, they do need to be careful with some of these penalties. We'll see what happens as they progress
They've
further
played
in.
An impressive game earlier against a closer ranked team and a closer seed, but I think this was really impressive considering the distance between their rank and the distance between their seed. So both games really impressive from Race City. It was great to see Philadelphia's first game of the weekend, and our unofficial score is 204 to 132 in favor of the Hooligans. We'll give it a second. We got to take that 30 seconds to make it official.
Impressive work on both sides from the Race City Rebels out of Indiana and Philadelphia Hooligans. It's been so much fun, Julius Leeser, as we wait for this to become, and it does. It is now official, Julius Leeser. It is the Philadelphia Hooligans picking up their first win.